Welcome to this week's episode of the Parents Timeout. This is for the week of June the 13th. And today's problem that we're talking about is when we have a lot of toys for our children, for our young children especially, that only do one thing. You know, those toys that you can press them so they make a sound. You can put something in the top of it and you watch it spin down. We have a lot of these toys in our houses when our kids, especially when they're pretty small. And there's two problems really with this kind of toy that only does one thing. One problem is it creates a really cluttered house, which is a pain in the neck. And the other problem is it really limits the kids' abilities to do things like problem solving and to create some of the bring on the critical skills that they'll need as they grow up. But really, I think one of the biggest problems is it creates bored, frustrated kids. And bored, frustrated kids are troublemaking kids, as we know. So the solution for this that I'm proposing is that we adopt something, well, it's got a fancy pants name, that we adopt something called loose parts. But really, not to like freak you out, because loose parts just means incorporating more toys that do more than one thing. And the great thing about this is oftentimes they're not even like toys. They're things that we already have around the house. Things like uh, paper, for example. The kids can do so many different things with a sheet of paper. And Tupperware or boxes. These are other things that, like, people often joke about how, I gave them this expensive present for Christmas and all they really did was use the box, because kids don't need toys to do, I know that sounds kind of crazy, but they really, really don't. Kids need things that are going to engage them, and they need people to engage with them. But I mean, oftentimes just the box is enough. I can remember my sons climbing in and out of cardboard boxes and just loving that. So today I want to try and inspire you to have less bored kids and less frustrated kids and more engaged and happy kids just by incorporating loose parts, which again can be just about anything. Lego is loose parts, unless of course they're Lego that only does one thing. And even then, in a lot of kids' lives, what they'll do is they'll build the house or the spaceship or something once, and then they'll take it apart and they'll incorporate those Lego into some other Lego sets that they've already got or something like that. Kids instinctively gravitate towards small manipulative things they can play with and build with. It's really about construction in their own minds and kind of architecture and just play. So that is today's takeaway. Move away from the one toy, the toy that does one thing, and into toys that maybe aren't even toys, but that like engage kids and kind of let them be creative. And you'll find that you have less bored and happier children just by doing that one thing. And if you want to hear more about this, you can go to the We Turned Out Okay podcast, episode 163. I knew it, but I had to look anyway. And that's the podcast that I do over at WeTurnedOutOK.com, we are always trying to help parents understand their young children. And that's it for today's Parents Time Out. Have a great day. We'll see you soon.